Download this code and get free GPT-4o from codegive.com, link in the description below. Loading data from Azure Blob Storage into Python can be accomplished using the Azure SDK for Python, specifically the azure-storage-blob library. This guide will walk you through the steps needed to set up your Azure environment, install the necessary libraries, and load data from Azure Blob Storage into Python. Prerequisites. 1. Azure account. You need an Azure account. If you don't have one, you can create a free account here, https://azure.microsoft.com/n-a/free. 2. Azure Blob Storage. You need to create a blob storage account and container within it. You can do this through the Azure portal. Step 1. Install required libraries. First, you need to install the Azure Blob Storage Client library. You can do this using pip. Step 2. Set up Azure Storage account. 1. Log into the Azure portal. 2. Create a new storage account or use an existing one. 3. Create a new container, example my container. 4. Upload some files to this container that you want to access from Python. Step 3. Accessing blob storage from Python. You will need the connection string for your Azure storage account. You can find this in the Azure portal by navigating to your storage account and selecting access keys. Here's a code example demonstrating how to load data from Azure Blob Storage into Python. Explanation of the code. 1. Import libraries. We import the necessary libraries, including Blob Service Client for interacting with Azure Blob Storage and Pandas for data manipulation. 2. Connection string. You provide your Azure Storage connection string, which contains the credentials to access your storage account. 3. Create Blob Service Client. We create an instance of Blob Service Client using the connection string. 4. Get Container Client. We retrieve the container client to access the specific container. 5. Get Blob Client. We obtain the blob client to interact with the specific blob file we want to download. 6. Download blob. We download the blob using the download_blob method and read its contents. 7. Load data into data frame. If the content is a CSV file, we read it into a pandas data frame. 8. Display data. Finally, we print the data frame to verify that the data was successfully loaded. Conclusion. You can follow these steps to load data from Azure Blob Storage into Python. This tutorial provides a foundation for further data processing and analysis using Python and Azure services. Make sure to handle exceptions and errors in a production environment, as this example is simplified for demonstration purposes.